Hello and welcome to Be Powerful with Liz and Lee. It's a new day and we're so glad you're here.
So you can expect to hear candid conversations on what it means to be powerful. Live authentically, live in the midst of ups and downs, productively, and above all else, joyfully.
We are so thankful for you, our community of listeners, and we hope you enjoy today's show. Hello. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Lee.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
Good. You're looking in the camera, tucking your hair.
Yeah, how I look. You like my look?
Great.
You
Love
like the shirt?
is love, baby.
Yeah, baby. We got some new shirts coming out at the studio.
Pride Month. Go
Coming up June.
Yes.
Yes, and we're going to have proceeds going to...
Time Out Youth.
Yep. And they're not these exact shirts. Even though, do we have any more of these for sale?
No.
Okay.
Sold out, baby.
However, for a price, you can get that. I'm just kidding.
We would have had the shirt.
Yeah, we're going to have some really cool shirts and give some money to one of our favorite charities, which is Time Out Youth.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
just said
upcoming. But now it's May and we just had Mother's Day.
Yes. Happy
Yay.
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. You know, my one takeaway is I doubt that men on Father's Day all text each other and post each other and are like, Happy Father's Day. And I find it so fascinating that women, we have to take care of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So we're making sure we've texted all our friends, we've called everybody, we've made sure that everybody knows, you know, you're amazing. Have a happy Mother's Day. And I just found that a little fascinating.
I love that. Mothers mothering mothers.
Because that's what we do.
That's what we do. And I love that. Getting a text from friends that I haven't seen or whatever. Just anybody. Just happy Mother's Day. One from, I'll call him out, one of our head coaches over at HSM Core, Dayron Booth. Hey, Dayron. That used to work for me at Core. Just said, Happy Mother's Day, Mama. I haven't seen him in person in a couple of years.
That's
it was
very
just
kind.
really sweet.
You're making a lot of noise with your hands.
Sorry, I know I'm flipping around here today as usual.
Anyway, so I hope that you enjoyed. And if you didn't, it's over.
Yeah,
so we're
it's
good.
over.
You made it.
Yeah, Mother's Day should be every day, but hey, it's over. You're on your own now.
Back
Get
to
those
our
kids to school. Let's do your thing.
regularly scheduled program,
Yes.
which is talking about May and how kind of crazy this month has become. And somebody had a great suggestion today, like, please talk about the transitions going on
What
right
kind
now.
of transitions?
Well, okay, so you don't have any right now. You've already
What do you mean?
transitioned.
I don't have any
to
transitions.
Gay,
Everybody's had
lesbian.
transitions, but I'm just like, are we talking about, turning into a man or a woman? Or are we talking about transitions in jobs? What are we talking about?
We're talking about school
Oh, right.
starting to be over for
Yeah,
the summer
that's a
coming
transition.
up. We're starting to talk about graduations from all the different ages because we've got to have a trophy and a sign and a celebration if you graduate from kindergarten, 5th grade, 8th grade, high school, college.
One of the most emotional days of my life was when my daughter Clary graduated from UNC Chapel Hill on Mother's Day. I mean, I started crying when I woke up. And
Why?
Because I was so emotionally moved.
Okay.
I was so proud of her. And, she was doing what, I was living vicariously through her. She was doing what I had always wanted to do.
But she didn't.
And I was so proud of her. And it was such a
Aw.
beautiful day. And they always traditionally have it on that Mother's Day. So you did the same thing. You graduated, but you haven't seen your children go through that yet.
No, we're working on 8th grade graduation this year.
You're getting them into schools, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've got the transition of schools ending or changing for some people. We've got people whose school is ending now, life changes and transitions and moving, coming home for the summer, going away, getting jobs. So I think as parents or as children, whomever you are, there's a lot of shift and change and the emotions, as you said, that go with that.
Yeah.
They can run pretty high.
They really can. And I also remember the other most emotional day was when she graduated, transitioned from kindergarten. Oh my gosh, do you remember that? You had that? Again, I would lose my mind when these things happen.
That's so
in my
funny.
mind, I go real dramatic. Like, it is dramatic. You will never have those moments again.
Right.
And that is a transition. And that's when you have to remember this is a present moment. I do not ever want to forget how special this time has been and special this time is.
Let's explore that a little bit because I don't have that same thing. I'm a really sensitive, kind of emotional person.
You have no sensitivity if this doesn't make you What? Okay.
It's just not as much. Like
Right.
the last first things don't,
yeah.
I mean, like, yes, I think about it or I think that's sweet or emotional, but I don't live there very long. For instance, you know, I want my kids to move on.
Wait, can I just, okay. I remember the very last massive, big fashion show I did, and I knew I was going to retire.
Yeah, that was it.
And I remember coming off stage and just in tears but I remember also, I could tell you every moment of that walk down the runway. And I could tell you how people looked, and I looked back at them in the audience. I really like to do that. That's to me, and these things just kind of, then you have these gifts that you have. I mean,
Right.
these gifts of time standing still and owning that moment. And I look at it that way.
Okay, let's
get
go
back
through.
to you.
No,
though,
no, no.
'cause you say
I don't
you
want
don't
to
have that.
No, I'm going to change this
Okay.
to go back to, you just named like all out of order some big transitions in your
That's my
life.
job, is to be out of order.
I'm going to rein you back in, and let's put this in order, trying to remember kind of your life's most important transitions that were either personal for you, your family, your
No,
business.
we did me last time. Let's do you.
You're welcome to stop talking at some point and
will.
let me talk about mine, but we're going to start with you as we should and as we do. If you think about it.
I hope y'all are watching on YouTube.
What are some of the transitions that were really big change moments for you, moving on moments, how you recall handling that, how it impacted your life, etc., how you stayed grounded, how it didn't ruin you, etc.? Do you remember? Pick three.
Well,
I don't know.
okay. I mean, I would say when I decided to quit college,
Okay.
because my mother couldn't afford it anymore, and I was a terrible student anyway, and I was just screwing around. And that transition, now remember, at that age, I was like 19, 20, probably 20 years old.
Okay.
And the transition, I didn't have a groundedness. I was scared to death. Well, you still remember those transitions because they affected me very deeply, as in I thought, oh, what a loser you are. And so then I reacted out of that into the next stage of my life. So I don't look at that transition as, oh, you should have been more grounded, Liz, as a 20-year-old. I look at that transition as, I really liked that person that I was because I was scared, and that's how I did the right thing, right? I really did the right thing. But for where it took me. So that transition was a big
But where
one.
did it take you? Like you said, that powered you through.
It took me to standing on my own and deciding in my space for the first time ever. This was the first time I remember walking on the beach with my mother and my sister, and they said, what are you going to do with your life? You have just dropped out of college. And I looked at them and I was like, I've got no idea. So we just started exploring it. And I remember my mother goes, well, whatever you're going to do, you're going to need to make some money fast because you are out. I mean, not out. She wasn't going to like throw me out on the street, but she goes,
close enough.
We've done what we can do here and I can't afford it. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to, what we did that day on the beach was I decided to be a dental hygienist, had no interest in teeth, never have, never do still. But I went to dental hygiene school, and I remember again feeling like a loser, but going to Central Piedmont, which is an incredible community college, which has a great dental hygiene school, I just want to say, and making straight A's, coming out, getting one of the best jobs I've ever gotten. First time on my feet as a business person, went directly into dentist's office and said, I can work here, but I want a commission. I literally knew no one making a commission, but I did that. So that was a transition. Okay. Transition that made me stand on my feet. Sometimes your greatest transitions are your failures. You know, we all kind of know that, but we hate that. And so I felt like a loser. I was.
So it's kind of that piece of advice to know there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that your failure now is going to fuel you.
Yes.
If you use it properly.
Correct.
To success.
Correct. I mean, the latest, I like to jump around, but you're saying 3 or whatever, but the transition of coming out of a marriage of 37 years, there is no greater transition than that. And the third one is there's no greater transition than being with you, than being from being a heterosexual to, dare I say, homosexual. Yeah, it's something
still
like
makes
that.
us laugh.
It still makes us laugh. Gay is good.
About.
Gay. I'm a gay divorcee. Anywho, So those transitions, as we get older, we handle them better. But we got to remember the transitions we have as little kids. We learn great lessons, and if we are as moms and dads,
There we go.
can allow our children to fail or quit, making sure they're just everybody likes them and making sure everybody gets the right grades, and let them see what it feels like to have life shoved in their face.
Sure.
It's one of the great lessons. And if you're not allowing your children to do that, I think you're not parenting very nicely.
Well, it's just not giving them the opportunity.
The opportunity to fail is a big deal.
And yes, to fail, but the skill set that it would take to overcome that and move forward instead of letting it. What?
I'm sorry. I just thought of a funny story. I know I'm not going to, I am going to say this. Okay. So Clary, my daughter, she's going to kill me. I don't care. She's already mad at me about so many things. But anyway, she came in one day from her middle school. They had this experiment where they had to make a rocket at her school. And it had to shoot off. In order to get the grade, it had to actually get in the air.
Okay.
So she messed around until it was like the day before, and she hadn't done her homework. She hadn't done it. She had not done it. Now, this was a good student, by the way. For some reason, she had a moment. She didn't get it done. And so she either borrowed or something, someone else's, or got somebody to help her.
Oh my gosh.
She in some way cheated. Well, her teacher knew that. And she came home and she just looked at me. And I said, sit down. I'd already been informed. She just started crying on the sofa. And I didn't soft pedal it. I went, you cheated. And then I used the great quotation of every great parent. This will go on your permanent record.
Oh my God.
What the hell is a permanent record? Anyway, it was the 8th or 7th grade. It wasn't going on any damn record.
Well, good.
I used it. And she went, what? I mean, like kids go, what permanent record? I'm like, from the rest of your life, you're going to have to do stuff above. You're going to take it a step above because you're going to have to make up for this. So I didn't put up with any of that crap, right?
Right.
Not that I'm a great parent. I mean, she could be on this podcast and tell you all the wrong things I did, but I think that was a good one.
That you scared her shitless?
Yes.
Like, I'm kind of missing the point.
Well, first of all, she was already scared. The teacher found out that she messed up and she cheated. She did. By the way, Clary, my daughter is the most incredible. She was a great student.
Right.
She did well at school.
That was her moment.
She got into school and just never had trouble with school. This was her one moment. Now, had I gone, oh, honey, I'm so sorry. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Was your teacher mean to you today? Then she wouldn't have learned a damn thing.
No, right.
But I was oh, I doubled down. I doubled down on the teacher. Whatever she said, I went deeper.
I know. We do have to have our teachers' backs more and just go, they're in authority too. So the minute that we doubt or want to fix our children's problems, that teacher loses authority and our kids think they can just weasel away anything.
Yeah, no, the teacher, as much as, anyway.
No, my daughter had something like that where she just came home and said, can you call the principal and change this? And I just sat on that and let her be emotional or say her thing. And then later said, what do you think that will do? Like really, what will me going there do? What will you learn from? It's just, you've got to let them emote.
Yes.
Nod.
And
it's good to nod and be quiet for a little bit.
Yeah. And let them
validate feelings and then go, probably not the best idea to XYZ.
Or you can tell us to go on the permanent record and scale their bejesus out of them. She was still anyway.
Some of that stuff does go on your permanent record.
I know it does, but not in the 7th grade. And even if it does, I mean, really?
I know. It's good to make those mistakes.
I love using those
a little
terms.
early.
There's certain hashtags as a parent. Always remember the permanent record one. This will win every time.
We all know how important it is to fuel yourself just right every morning. Liz, what's your jet fuel?
It's the HSM smoothie, of course.
Obviously.
But also, I've got a new little thing.
You've got a new friend? From Sakara Life, the Metabolism Super Powder is your go-to. It fires up your metabolism, curbs sugar cravings, helps ease bloat, And is it delicious?
Oh, it's so good, especially in your coffee. It's got a great taste.
Dump it in the coffee, blend it up,
Dump
and
it
go.
in the coffee, blend it, and be excited because you're going to love it.
Y'all go to sakaralife.com. When you check out, you'll receive 20% off your order, which is a great deal by using the code XOLizHSM. That's XOLIZHSM for 20% off your order at sakaralife.com. When I was in what did we do? 7th, 8th, and 9th grade was kind of our division of middle school, junior high. And I really liked soccer and was fairly good before I fizzled out, I'm sure, at whatever
You didn't fizzle out. I bet you were really good because you're little and you're quick, like a bunny rabbit.
And so I was so proud of myself. There was JV and varsity, and I and one other friend made varsity as 7th graders, the only two to make it.
Yes.
And so I felt really good about that and had a great year or whatever. And then the next year I made JV in 8th grade after having been on varsity. And that was a really hard moment.
Did you actually go and play the JV?
Yeah, and it was obvious.
Oh, wow. That's Loserville. I'm sorry for you. That's rough.
I think
you have been on the varsity team and you got knocked back?
Yes, but
that's hard.
I'm not trying to make excuses, but I think it was
hard.
like a rainy day, new coaches didn't go well. And then once the season happened, it was very obvious that I probably should have been on varsity.
I'm beyond all that. I'm really going to give you credit for actually playing. Yeah. Actually playing down.
Well, and that
not
was
a lot of people would do it. Most people would go, I'm done.
Right. And that was a moment my mom, I remember always saying, I didn't go to the school or say, she made varsity last year, she should be on it again. We just, you let those go and you learn a lot of lessons.
That's great. That's good. So we're talking about the transitions of May and here we are. That's
back to 7th grade.
It's just plain transitions. I mean, there's a lot going on for people. Tell me about it, more about I remember calling it Maycember when I had a girl and
you didn't call it that. People call that now.
No, we did.
You did?
Oh, hell yeah. Don't think you made up everything. No, we did. Because it was like, I remember one of the most stressful jobs I ever had was being the school, what is it called? The head mama? The room mother at school where Clary was, my daughter. And I remember just stressing out. I mean, like, stressing out more than I do now with an actual job in business, just going, oh my God, we've got to get all this stuff done and I can't organize these people. It was like, you organize these moms. It's like, herding cats. They said they'd be here with the cupcakes. They're not. Somebody run to Harris Teeter.
Do you know how ridiculous all this sounds? Like, I'm not saying at you, but I'm saying when we look at this from 30,000 feet above, it's so silly. And so,
but it's real stress.
I know,
these women,
but what I'm saying is that's what begins to happen. So school's about to get out and kids will be home all summer and we have to spend all our remaining last moments of time in school with them. And there's events that go with it and parties and celebrations. And it is just tiring. And so that's going to continue to happen.
Yes.
So you have to do that internal, groundedness and get your self-care together.
Right.
And go, let's be real what the purpose is. It's kind of like looking at marriage as the wedding being so important. And it's like, let's look at this again, higher level. What's the most important at the end of this celebration of this race to the finish line?
Right.
What's the marathon effect? Why are we doing it?
Why are we doing it? And just again, stay in the present moment. But it's hard to tell a room mother of a kindergarten class, stay in the moment. There'd be an FU out of that one. I mean, but at the same time, we just appreciate, I don't know what to say about that. I went through it and I didn't handle it well.
Yeah, no, I mean, everybody, takes their turns and steps up and it's gonna be okay. Yeah. You just ask for help and good people on your committees. But beyond that too, I mean, there are those, we've got to be prepared for the shifts that come. Right. Kids coming in and out of the home.
People coming home from college. Right. That's a big transition.
Kids going off.
It's a transition when they go away, but now the moms and dads that have them coming back for the summer, I can speak from that too. That was really a transition. Well, it's a real transition for your child, for your kid, who's now an adult, by the way. Or they think they are, but they are because they have now lived off from home. And they're like, wait a minute, there's no curfew here, right? Because I don't know about curfews. So I remember that was a transition. It's just an ongoing,
that's life.
Hold your own, like whatever your boundaries and rules in your house or your the way you do your family. You know, it's just, we all have a way, a mechanism of how you run your family, how your family runs. And maybe it requires the whole crowd sitting down and going, hey, I know you've been doing this in college, but you're going to need to be at house because I'm not waking up at midnight every night.
No, and it's just the boundaries that you start when they're little, that what's acceptable in your house and what's not. And it's all about communication.
Yeah.
And so starting off in a pleasant conversation about what's to be expected versus paying the price at the end of it when everybody's just frustrated because no one said anything is not great.
What about other transitions, you know, besides being?
Well, I think your point about a job
adults.
And, you know, our marriages, I think are huge. I mean, let's
What's
think.
going on with marriages these days?
Yeah, I'm going back to your modeling job. I mean, was that transition, you quit modeling? Why?
I almost had to be shoved out, but I did finally. I modeled late. I modeled till I was 41, something like that. And I remember distinctly on a walk, and one of the people that hired me all the time saying to me, and this really broke my heart too. And she just said it in a really sweet way. She goes, Liz, I started to stand up for you, but so-and-so says you're literally too old to do this certain job. And I went, I know that. And I told her that. I said, I knew that. I put my hand, and right then I went, and I'm done, because it hurts so bad. You know, nobody likes to be told you're no longer good enough to do whatever
You're no
job.
longer relevant.
You're no longer relevant. I found that. So I decided, all right, this is my last thing. I've already been told, which I swore I wouldn't be told ever. And so these things I was already booked to do, I made them the best I could do. And I remember every moment of it, and I loved it. And I mean, I really have great memories I really enjoyed the runway. It was a lot of fun. And so anyway, that's
why you quit. So that's a huge transition to maybe feel like,
yes, yeah,
I'm not relevant.
But then I had people like, you know, even years after that, like, why did you quit? We would have hired you. We would have done that. But you know, it is pride. It's pride. And it's also knowing when to quit. You need to know when to quit a lot of things. It's not just, you know, a modeling job. It's knowing when to quit a relationship that is not working, but it is destructive for you, or knowing when to quit a job that is sucking all of your energy and time away from the people you love.
How do you know when?
You know when you are sick. I mean, sometimes before you get sick would be nice. If something that you do not like is taking up all your time and squelching your energy or sucking it out of your soul, then you need to not immediately quit, but you need to have a meeting with yourself.
That's what I was
have a meeting with yourself, and then have a meeting with the people that you're trying to work with, or whatever.
Do you think how often?
Oh, I mean, I check in daily.
I know, but I mean, when you really are thinking about real life strategy types of events, are you a monthly? Are you a quarterly? Or it tells you itself?
I think your gut, remember, tells you everything. Your body is going to be your bet. That's why I do what I do. Your body is going to be your best advisor, above your doctor, above your spouse, above your best friend. Your body is going to tell you what is correct. And all you have to do is sit with it, or all you got to do is feel that sucker punch. Sometimes it's literally a sucker punch. And sometimes it's those wonderful butterflies. And you're like, oh, this feels good. Then run toward it. And when you get the sucker punch, run away from it. Walk fast, at least.
That's
get away.
Simple. I like that. The interesting part too is you obviously could model today, but now you don't look old enough. Isn't that right?
What? I don't look. Oh, that's true.
Yes.
No, because I did a photo shoot for the studio recently with people that hire models, and they were like, why don't you model? And I'm like, well, I did a long time ago. And then I looked at them like, you know, I can't go into my age group. And the point being is I'm going to color my hair until, if I am lying in the coffin and I have roots, you're going to need to like touch
Jacqueline,
me up, which I won't have a coffin anyway. But yeah, no, I'm too vain with my hair color to let my hair. You have to have gray hair at my age to do that, which I have. I have a full head of like white hair.
It comes out white.
It comes out like white on my roots. See, you can see in there. But I don't like it. It doesn't make me happy.
So there you go.
Yeah. So whatever. Do what makes you happy. I think there's some beautiful women one of our clients just cut her hair really short and she's got this salt and pepper gray hair. And I told her the other day, you look fantastic. And she cut it really short too. And she just looks healthy and good and vibrant. And that's her.
Right.
That's just everybody. But yeah, find you. And I am all about the.
You are blind.
Well, it's got a little dark, it's all that.
Low lights, highlights.
Low lights,
Looks
highlights,
great.
baby.
Looks really good.
We do what we can do.
We do what we can do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess the final, big transition, I think for both of us, obviously, was divorce and coming into our own
Huge.
relationships.
That's the largest one.
And I think what you said about listening to your gut was really important for me throughout that. I mean, if you think too hard about those kinds of things, I mean, that sounds stupid. Like,
no, it doesn't.
Don't think about
you have to
what
think
it
about
takes to go.
Your head has
through
got
a
to talk
divorce.
to you, but then you've got to really listen.
Right.
What's
Amongst
happening inside.
all of that thought and processing and decision making and thinking about everyone around you. It is at the end of the day what's happening on the inside and what do you feel, and always knowing when you're in your right state,
right,
emotionally, physically, then everything else is going to go a lot better.
It's always going to go a lot better. And you and I have talked to some kind of friends, good new acquaintances lately, and I'm disturbed. I really am disturbed at the state of the relationships of some of the people that I've been around lately. They're accepting some really horrible situations that really make them feel bad. Now, I don't judge a relationship. You do you. Y'all want to have animals in the bedroom. That is your joy. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do. But when it makes them feel so bad, I always want to go, let's weigh it out. What is that trade-off? Well, if it is making you feel so bad that you're having to take medication, that your health is suffering, that you're suffering, your spouse, your children are suffering, then do something about it.
Right.
Don't let it just lie there and go, we'll just get through it. I want to say I don't know what we were. We finally listened to our own hearts and our gut with our relationship. And I remember being in relationship before that and feeling that sucker punch and that depth of coldness and feeling not in a good place and being afraid to take that step.
Of course.
And
it's scary.
It's not good.
And you always worry about judgment and all the things that come with
and
that.
Your children, you worry about everything.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I would say that there is a great benefit of having friends to bounce things off of, to communicate with other women going through the same thing, to talk about kind of general life challenges between anything, parents, spouses, children, jobs, whatever. And then there's a level of such, when you start airing everything, it's like you're asking for approval in a situation. So what I'm saying is when you find yourself talking to people about your relationship or the troubles that you're having in such an extreme way all the time, kind of reflect back on that. Are we just having like a, conversation about everybody goes through this and isn't that annoying that the dishwasher wasn't unloaded? Or what is the level of pain that you're discussing with people and thinking about why either of you in the relationship, I'm just going to use relationships, deserve to have that kind of pain or that type of treatment towards one another.
They find it acceptable. I had a friend when I was questioning my marriage, well before us, a long time ago, just whatever you do, stay in the marriage. A good friend, a person I trust, I love, she loves me. Just whatever you do, stay in the marriage. Your consequences are too much. The consequences, that's the worst advice I've ever gotten.
And that's always going to be somebody's reflection of what they believe, what works for them.
Right. But I listened.
True.
Yeah.
And they're trying to be helpful.
Right.
I do think people are saying, avoid, you're shaking everywhere. You're real jittery, high energy today.
I'm having a good time. Sorry.
You're having a good time. Too much mushrooms. We'll get to that
no,
later.
we are not taking mushrooms.
You
It's more like, yeah.
Supplements
We'll
of
get
a
to
bunch
that
of
at the end.
mushrooms. I'm like,
Yeah.
geez. I
Lansing,
can't keep
Chunga.
track
Yeah.
of our conversation because you're kind of all over the place.
You keep going though.
I'm going to
I got your
try.
back, baby.
I'm going to try. But when people tell you things like that, I think they're trying to help you avoid the pain that inevitably is going to come. I think they're trying to be.
No, in this case, I think what that person was saying to me, I'm even more miserable than you, and misery loves company.
That's
so we're
true.
all miserable. Let's all be miserable together, and we'll just all be friends and have a great time and get away from our spouses whenever we can and be ourselves.
And just do it that
And that
way.
was literally what that was about.
Okay.
Now, other conversations I'm sure are different, but this one was, there's an agreement among, at least I'm a woman, so I identify as a woman. And so I've had more conversations with women, and women tend to go, I'll accept hell as long as you promise me you'll be in hell with me. We can all live in hell together. And we'll all know we're together in hell, but when we're together, we'll have a great time. And there's beauty to that, I suppose.
Wow. I think you're so right.
I lived like that a long time. I wasn't in hell, by the way. I wasn't. But it turns out that some of the marriages that are still together, and that's why I've said before, I would always put my marriage with my ex-husband up against anyone's. We actually had a pretty fairly good marriage. Because we were communicative. We had a good relationship. And so I've seen some really sour ones. And you see these women weeping at these old women weeping at the funerals. That's not always tears of sorrow. My mother used to tell me that. She literally told me that. She was like, she had a great relationship with my dad, but he died young, and when he was 62 of a heart attack. And she was like, I'm good. I am
No, she
good.
was really sad.
She was super sad, but she never got married. Never had designs on getting married again. She said, I had a great relationship. I'm good.
Good.
I'm good to go.
Right.
And then she would say things to me. She would say things like that. You see those widows over there weeping in the church? Well, I'll tell you why they're weeping. They're weeping joy. But I'm like, what? That was so funny and cynical. But
also, it's life. You
not all,
find the humor in it.
We're being flippant about the fact that, in some cases, people are literally waiting on death. And that's just not cool.
Sad way to be.
It's not cool if you want to be a functioning, happy, joyful human. And we've only got this one life that we know about.
It's just too short to just buckle up and take it. And I think it always goes back to having the strength and the self-confidence to be independent and on your own. And isn't that lovely if you can find a partner or a friend or whatever it is in your life, your passion that lights you up,
right,
and lives like that. And it is too short to
And I want to make sure
bring
that
forth.
I did not make the point that all widows do that. I just don't want to do that. I'm sorry. Because some long marriages, and I hope that all of them are happy, and not just happy, joyful. But
I will not be weeping with joy at your funeral.
I hope you won't. And
we would die together.
I won't be weeping at yours either.
You might. Either way, you won't be weeping.
No, I won't be weeping. I would weep. I would weep. Are you kidding me?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. She hates to talk about death. I kind of like it.
Well, I'm good right now.
Okay, we won't talk about it. Let's tell them about the mushrooms, though.
No,
okay,
you just land the plane on this part about being stable enough in your own self to whatever the life transition is to be able to handle it. I know of somebody who just had a horrible situation where the husband just flipped. It was like a person she didn't even know anymore. And
sad.
Things have come to a screeching halt in a terrible way. So we don't always know what's going to happen, right?
We don't know what people are walking. We're not walking in their shoes. We do not know what
even the people
are
closest to us.
We really don't. People didn't know. That's why it was such a shock for so many people that knew me, including my own child, because we were not transparently in a bad marriage. We were great actors. So, hold your judgment, people. We don't know what's going on next door or even in our own families sometimes.
Right. But my point back to real quick, of the friend I know, she's going to be okay because she has her act together.
Yes.
So no matter how painful or sad a situation is, you've got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, because at the end of the day, that's all.
Mm-hmm. And if you
all
can't
you've
stand
got.
on your own 2 feet, know that, pay attention to that, and reach out for help. And reach out for help. There's no situation ever so desperate that you cannot have someone to support you. And if you can't, you're going to call me, because I will support you. And that's the truth.
True.
That's the truth.
That is very true.
That's one thing. I am a functioning, joyful human being, and I depend on the support of others, and I will be there for anyone that needs their support from me anytime, anywhere, all the time.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Ditto. So whatever you're going through, Maycember, celebrate, try to be present. Don't let all these things drive you crazy, because you'll probably only get to do it once.
Or pay attention that they're driving you crazy and go, okay, I'm going to go 30,000 feet up and look down and go, is this really worth going crazy over?
Or should I just go to the studio and
and work out
some stress?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and have you noticed our studio has been really
busy, which
banging.
is good.
I mean, it's been very busy, and these women are carving out time because they are busy,
because they know
there's lots going on. But yeah, we will be there to support you, whatever you're going through, and thank you always for supporting us. And can we just say one thing about the mushrooms?
We're going to go to the mushrooms. I just wanted to make sure we gave that due time and wrapped it up.
Yes. So, okay, I'm going through a new health phase, and we're going to talk a lot more about it. Matter of fact, we probably do something through the studio, but there's a lot of research in nutrition constantly coming out. So I'm just discovering, maybe people are way ahead of me. Fine. Good.
You've known this.
But the beauty in the sources of mushrooms, not edibles, not the kind that make you high and hallucinate, but like lion's mane, all those, I can't name all of them. There's a whole bunch of them. And we may start carrying some in the studio,
or you're going to get a discount code.
So we're working on that. But I want you to know we've got your back on nutrition. And so it was called to my attention recently that one of the people I'm really close to just discovered that she needs to have protein first thing in the morning. And I thought, well, I've been telling you this for 10 years or something. But sometimes you have to hear it from another source, maybe a doctor or someone. Right. But we want you to know that all of the things we carry in the studio are resourced out. I mean, we know exactly what's in this stuff. If you're a vegan and want to get your protein, remember your protein needs to be 1 gram per body weight a day. And we know how incredibly hard that is to do. That's why we have all our smoothie ingredients in the studio, and they are vegan. So just so you know, I had to say that too.
Great.
Because we're gonna start maybe talking about that a little more, because we talked about hormones in the last podcast, and the things that make us feel good are the things we put in our mouth and the things we say out of our mouth. So bring in the good and say out the good, because those are the energetics that are the energy that make you either a joyful person or unhappy and a tired and sick person. So we're ready for Maycember to be, we're halfway through it, right?
Over.
Yeah. Never over. Just stay in the present, keep breathing, have fun, talk to your friends, support them, and never know what's going on. You never know what's going on in somebody else's family or in your own.
Or in your own. Shit. Oh my God.
Okay.
Love you.
Yeah, I love you too.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to us today, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, you can now find our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. If you liked it, please share, rate, and review. We love 5 stars. And we hope you'll work out with us online or in studio at HilliardStudioMethod.com.